Archana ji, mute everyone else, please. Archana ji. Yes, Atul bhai, you can go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes. રેવા લોજ વડોદરા, રોહિત લોજ અમદાવાદ અને જ્યોતિ લોજ મુંબઈના ઉપક્રમે આયોજિત મદ્રાસ ફેડરેશન, ગુજરાત ફેડરેશન અને મુંબઈ ફેડરેશનના ત્રિવેણી મંગળવાર મીટના આજના પ્રવચન કર્મ, નિયતિ અને મુક્ત ઈચ્છાના વક્તા સોનલ મુરલીજી, વર્ષાબેન પટેલ અને હર્ષવર્ધનભાઈ શેઠ તેમજ આજની સભાના મોડરેટર શ્રી તરલભાઈ મુનશી તેમજ આજની સભામાં હાજર સર્વે સભ્યોનું સ્વાગત કરું છું. કેશવરબેન વૈશ્વિક પ્રાર્થનાથી આજની સભાની શરૂઆત કરાવશે. કેશવરબેન, આપનું સ્વાગત છે.
O hidden life, vibrant in every atom.
O hidden light,
Vibrant in
vibrant in every atom.
O hidden light, shining in every creature.
O hidden light,
shining in
every creature.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
May each who feels himself as one with thee
May each who feels himself as one with thee
know he is also one with every other.
know
he is
he is also one with every other.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
કેશવરબેન, આપનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. શ્રી તરલભાઈ મુનશીને આજની સભાની આગળની કાર્ય માટે આમંત્રિત કરું છું. તરલભાઈ, આપનું સ્વાગત છે.
Thank you, Atul bhai. और सोनल जी, मीरा जी, आप वर्षा जी, તમારું નામ મીરા વંચાય છે અને હર્ષવર્ધન જી આપકા સ્વાગત है. સોનલજી નો એક નાનકડો પરિચય આપી દો. Sonal Murji is a postgraduate in English with gold medal. She has joined Theosophical Society while in college and has been a member for more than 4 or almost, I think, 4 decades. She has come to Adyar as a young volunteer and served many years working very closely with Radhaji for the theosophical publications, magazines, and as well as she was involved in many activities of the headquarters. As we know, there are several activities. Then she conducted many outreach programs of being awareness about animal rights also. She has worked for a very 2 or 3 movements also. She is a passionate educator and interested in exploring different very way of living. After working with the Krishnamurti school for a decade, she worked for few years for underprivileged children at Jalgaon in Rajasthan also. She has been a student of theosophy as well as teachings of Raman Maharshi and Jiddu Krishnamurti ji. Sonal ji again, after some times, returned to Adyar around 4 years or 5 years ago to set up the Theosophical School. That is, we know the school as Adyar Theosophical Academy, and this is under the guidance of Brother Vic, and we all know him also. The school completed almost 3 years, I think, in this June, and school is based on model of Golden Link School of Philippines. But we know Sonal ji as a wonderful speaker, and whatever subject she brings, it really, we go deep into it in short time also. Sonal ji, over to you for your subjects. Thank you.
Thank you, Taral ji. So today the topic is on karma, and we will be also looking at whether it is there is free will or it is all destiny. This is something that people have been discussing for long time, whether there is any free will at all or everything is predestined. Now, karma is a key concept in theosophy. Karma means action. In English, of course, it's pronounced as karma. But in its popular usage, it also means action and reaction cycle. And loosely understood, we also take it as a system of checks and balances in our lives, of good and bad deeds, good and bad intentions. And this is a very, very oversimplified understanding of the law of karma, because law of karma is very complex and mysterious in its working. And understanding why we should understand karma is because it can make us aware of both our limitations and also the possibilities of our existence, as we will see during the course of this talk. Karma is considered an eternal enigma. We cannot live without karma. As long as we are in the physical body, karma is inevitable, because entire human life is sustained by it. We are not going to look at the cosmogony and how the manifestation happened, because the karma starts from there. At the same time, karma can be very wounding, very, very hurtful and deeply entangling. We keep getting more and more entangled into it if we don't learn how to handle it. So this is something that people feel that if they have a key to understand the karma, then their lives would go smoothly, and then they might be able to reach their goal. All of us carry the package of karma. We want to dissolve it, or we want to distance ourselves from this package. Now, the questions that arise, common questions that all of us have is how intentional karma or actions keep us tied to rebirth in this sansar, how karma can free us from sansar, is there free will, how karma can become a vehicle for transformation and empowerment, how can we be in charge of our own life, can karma become a compass for navigating life, why understanding karma is crucial. These are all the common questions that we have. Now, if I can give you an example, 1,000 years ago, if a seafarer had to go out into the sea, and if the winds were blowing east, then you would go east. Maybe you wanted to go to America, but you will end up in Japan. And these kind of things have happened in history. So the winds decided your destiny. But today that is not the case, because we can predict the wind and don't allow the wind to push us this way or that way, and we can reach our destination in precise time, because we have all the instruments, we have all the knowledge about everything that is required to go in the sea. And so similarly, if we can understand karma, then we can also propel our lives, and we will not be pushed by the winds hither and thither. Now, if we don't understand the law of karma, then we are always in a self-perpetuating, like a round wheel or a carousel. We are impaired by karma. So karma is actually binding us and not allowing us to be free. Now, even through our own DNA, it is not just I, but my forefathers, my ancestors, they are living through me. They are repeating the entire theater drama of life. And the same kind of cues are there, same kind of triggers are there, same kind of push buttons are there, same reactions are there over and over and over again, which Krishnamurti used to call the content of consciousness, that for millions of years we have not changed fundamentally as human beings. Now, theosophy holds that order pervades the manifested universe because everything exists according to the laws of nature. And among them, the law of karma is the absolute law. And it encompasses all levels in the material as well as the subtler levels of cosmos. So it is the law of spiritual dynamics related to every act in daily life. Law of cause and effect, of action and consequence. And this law of retribution is unerring. There cannot be any error in it. It's also called the law of compensation, law of absolute justice, and it's reciprocal in nature. In some Hindu philosophic texts, it is also considered as an unseen, adrashta, that which we cannot see. and it's a kind of force that is operating without need for any divine guidance. This is what some, one school of philosophy believes in. In Buddhism, it is interpreted in terms of human psychology and acts according to skandhas. Skandhas are the sanskaras, which literally means heaps. So it's heaped upon heap within ourselves, and especially our habit patterns or grooves. So just like how in a record there are these grooves, you make a groove, and then in the groove, the needle just keeps going round and round and round. Like that, we have made these habit patterns, we have made these attitudes in our lives, image making, and all that obscures its omniscience and weighs it down and makes it very, very earth-bound. Theosophy explains karma as both an impersonal law and also a law guided by extremely lofty intelligences. So it is not just like a law of gravity which operates on its own, but there are higher level of intelligences which are actually guiding this. And so we live in a just universe. This is one of the fundamental belief system that theosophy gives us, that though apparently it seems that there is so much of injustice, we live in a very, very just universe. Intelligence pervades the entire cosmos, and all action that we do, it leaves one imprint on this, some kind of impression on this living universe, because there are akashic records, there is subtle matter where all this is recorded. All these impressions of each of our action, each of our thought, or each of our feeling is recorded there. And there are beings which are called lipikas, or the four Maharajas. So lipikas are also called the lords of karma, and they are recording these impressions. And they constantly adjust the karmic results so that no one is ever completely overwhelmed by it. And we can be given our karma or the consequences of our karma only as much as we can cope with it. And we don't go down under because of the weight of it. So we get the suffering in this life only what we can cope with it, and we don't get totally and completely overwhelmed by it. So it is also the law of readjustment, whichever tends to restore the disturbed equilibrium in the physical. In the physical level, there is, that harmony is the substratum of the reality of being. And in the moral world also, there is a certain kind of order which is there. Now, with any action that we have done, both these get disturbed. The equilibrium gets disturbed, and also the harmony in the moral world gets broken. Law is a force causing reincarnation, which is directed by tanha. So it is the karma, the actions, the karmic actions and results of that, and the tanha, which is unsatisfied desire for sentient life. There is just this desire to live, jiji visha, what we call, for existence. So that is what, that is the force that keeps everything going. And HPB says that karma is the ultimate law of the universe, the source, origin, and fount of all other laws which exist throughout nature, the unerring law which adjusts effect to cause on the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. Karma is impersonal and inexorable. Very often when we are suffering in life, one of the questions that keeps coming to people is that why am I suffering? Why it should have happened to me? But actually karma is completely impersonal, and no kind of it cannot be cajoled into doing anything. It cannot be forced to do anything. HPB tells us that karma is universal harmony. And she uses a metaphor of a tree, that if a tree is there, a limb of tree, if you, bend it very forcefully and then you leave it, it would go back, it would rebound very quickly. So our every thought, our every action, every word, every feeling, it will cause a wave of energy. And this wave of energy has a rebounding response, just like how the bent limb of a tree when released, would rebound very quickly and with equal force. Similarly, our every thought, word, and action would also cause a wave of energy, and it will have its own inevitable response. And this is the way in which the universe maintains equilibrium. So for every cause, there will be an effect. Now, how does the law of karma work? It always acts to restore this harmony and the balance of equilibrium, in virtue of which the universe exists. It always works in an interconnected system in which everything affects everything else. The secret doctrine does not depict karma mechanically as an eye for an eye doctrine. So HPB says that it is not one-on-one kind of relationship between cause and effect. So it's not that if you've done something, exactly the same thing will be done to you. It is not a predetermined course in which certain kind of action will have the same kind of karmic consequence. Karma is actually very fluid and flexible, and the outcomes of karma, though they are prarabdha karma in which we have to suffer in this life, they are continually shaped by the input of new factors. So, as in all the spiritual traditions, it has been said, so repentance from true heart, remorse, which is felt after doing something wrong to someone, forgiveness, you forgive, whatever, even the greatest harm done to you, love, all these matter, because these are the new factors which shape the karma's response. The working of karma might be compared to the complexities of the weather pattern, if you want to understand it with this metaphor. So if you look at the weather at any given place or given day, it actually results from a combination of innumerable factors which are past and present, local and distant, and new influences keep entering the system to change the outcome. So karma also is very multidimensional. It is not linear. It is affected by and works on physical, mental, and spiritual levels on all planes and fields of nature. And it can bring into play the influences from the distant past as well as those of the moment. And it is determined by past, but the future is far from set. This is something very important for us to understand, that karma is determined by the past, but the future is yet to be set. And it is a result of countless causes, not just one cause, because we are all interconnected and interlinked. And karma is a very, very dynamic thing. Now, individual karma and reincarnation, we reap in our afterlife the fruit that which we have sown in this. Karma forces the spiritual individuality or sutratma or ego to incarnate. It has a power behind incarnation. From birth to death, if I can give another simile, every man is weaving thread by thread around himself. In Light on the Path, there is a very beautiful short essay at the end of it called Karma, where the metaphor of a rope is used. Here, we are using a metaphor of a spider's web. So just like how a spider does his cobweb, similarly, every man is also weaving, sending out thread by thread around himself. And this destiny is guided either by the higher self within him, which is the invisible prototype Atma, which is outside of us, or by our more intimate astral or inner man. We are still functioning in the Kama Manas, in the field of Kama Manas. And so it is this astral man which can be also guiding us or forcing us to do certain things. Now, both these lead on the outward man, but one of them must prevail. It can be either the higher self or it can be the intimate astral self. When the last strand is woven and the spider's web is completely done, the man is seemingly enwrapped in the network of his own doing. So everything that happens to us, all the circumstances created that are there around us, and everything that happens to us is only done by ourselves. So we have ourselves like a spider, sent out these things which are enwrapping us. And then we find ourselves completely under the empire of this self-made destiny. And this is one of the very important concepts that theosophy has given us, that everything that happens to us, we are the doer for that, and there is no one else to blame for anything. Now, this self-made destiny in which man is entrapped, it can either fix him like a shell against a immovable rock, or it can carry him away like a feather in a whirlwind raised by his own actions. And this is karma. This is what Madame Blavatsky has said in Secret Doctrine. Now, all this account of what we do, they are all recorded in this tablet of Book of Life, eternal tablet. It has no end and no beginning. Now, whatever account is recorded in this book, that has to be balanced. The circumstances that are undergone for purpose of providing the necessary adjustment become the karma. So karma can also be like a tender and compassionate mother. She gives pain for the wrongdoings of past lives and during our earth life. And then after that, it also provides us healing, because we go into Devakan plane and there is peace and bliss there. And this is where the human being gets full consolation, rest, and peace. That is why it's also called the law of compensation. Now, this ego, which is disembodied, which is no longer in the body, through the soul undying desire in him, it unconsciously furnishes the conditions of his successive self procreations in various forms. And the good and bad deeds of his preceding existence, commonly called merit and demerit. HPB likens this process to the effects created by a stone which falls in a pond and setting up waves which roll back and forth until equilibrium is restored. And pond again becomes cat. There are these waves which, like ripple effect, they keep going. So all action, no matter on what level, produces such disturbances. But since each disturbance starts from a particular point, it is clear that equilibrium and harmony can only be restored by reconverging to that same point of all the forces which were set in motion from it. We can also learn from karma, which is one of the important things that theosophy teaches us. Just like how karma works on a grand scale with the forces of evolution, similarly, it also promotes growth for an individual in our own individual lives. So it is not, as I said earlier, fixed and foreordained, but it adjusts very wisely, intelligently, and equitably, each effect to its cause, and reflecting our past actions in our outer lives and in our inner makeup. So life continuously keeps giving us feedback if we know how to read it. And because of karma, we can learn from life. We'll stop here for the part 1 and continue later.
Thank you so much, Sonal ji. And now, Varsha ji, welcome. Briefly, I will also introduce Varsha ji. वर्षा जी अहमदाबाद गुजरात से बिलोंग करती हैं. उन्होंने MA, BEd, PhD इन एग्रीकल्चर और क्रेडिट एंड डेवलपमेंट किया हुआ है और असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर है गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज में गुजरात में. इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ाती हैं वो, और थियोसॉफी सोसाइटी उन्होंने 2005 के आसपास ज्वाइन की थी. वे रोहित लॉज गुजरात से बिलोंग करती हैं, गुजरात फेडरेशन. करेंटली वो रोहित लॉज के प्रेसिडेंट भी हैं और यंग और यूथ चेयरमैन रही हैं गुजरात फेडरेशन की. फॉर्मर कोऑप्टेड काउंसिल मेंबर रही हैं इंडियन सेक्शन की, और डायरेक्टर ऑफ जो हमारा यूथ प्रोग्राम है इन गुजरात, उसकी भी एक कोऑर्डिनेटर रही हैं. मेनली वो सोशल एक्टिविटीज करती हैं थ्रू बुद्धा थियोसॉफिकल ऑर्डर ऑफ सर्विस इन गुजरात. वेलकम वर्षा जी. आज के विषय को गुजराती में आप समाप्त कीजिए. थैंक यू. पार्ट 1.
ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર સર. અવાજ ઓકે છે?
યસ યસ, એવરીથિંગ ઇઝ ફાઇન.
આજે સોનલબેન મુરલીએ જે વાત કરી આપણને કર્મ વિશે, એનું ટૂંક સાર હું ગુજરાતી ભાષામાં પ્રસ્તુત કરું છું. વિષયનું જે ટાઇટલ છે એ છે કર્મ નસીબ અને મુક્તિની ઈચ્છા. થિયોસોફીમાં કર્મનો ખ્યાલ મુખ્ય છે, જેનો સામાન્ય અર્થ કર્મ એટલે ક્રિયા, પરંતુ થોડો વધુ ગહન અર્થ છે ક્રિયા અને પ્રતિક્રિયાનું આખું ચક્ર, જે કર્મના નિયમથી ઓળખાય છે. આપણા જીવનના સારા અને ખરાબ કાર્યો, સારા હેતુ, ખરાબ હેતુ અને એ મુજબના એના કર્મફળની આખી સિસ્ટમ ગોઠવાયેલી છે. પરંતુ આ કર્મના નિયમની સિસ્ટમ જેટલી સહેલાઈથી દેખાય છે એટલી એને સમજવી સરળ નથી. પરંતુ જો જાગૃત બનીએ તો આ કર્મના નિયમની સિસ્ટમનો અભ્યાસ કરીએ અને એનાથી આપણી મર્યાદાઓ અને શક્યતાઓને ઓળખીને આપણે જીવનને સંતુલિત બનાવી શકીએ છીએ. જીવનરૂપી નૌકાને ચલાવવા કર્મ એક હોકાયંત્રનું પણ કામ કરી શકે છે. જેમ કે 1000 વર્ષ પહેલા હોકાયંત્ર નહોતું ત્યારે નાવિક પવનની જે દિશા હોય એ તરફ નૌકાને ચલાવતું. આથી ક્યારેક તેને જવું હોય અમેરિકા પણ તે પહોંચી જતો જાપાન. આમ અહીં પવન એ નાવિકનું ભાગ્ય નક્કી કરતું. પરંતુ હવે હોકાયંત્રની શોધ થતા તમારે જે ગંતવ્ય સ્થાન તરફ જવું હોય ત્યાં તમે સહેલાઈથી પહોંચી શકો છો. અર્થાત ટૂંકમાં કહીએ તો તમારા સિવાય કોઈ તમારી દિશા હવે બદલી શકતું નથી. આમ આપણને પણ જ્યારે કર્મના કે પ્રકૃતિના ગૂઢ રહસ્યોનો અભ્યાસ કે સમજણ નથી રાખતા તો અનંત રૂપી બ્રહ્માંડના સ્વ શાશ્વત હિંડોળામાં આપણા પૂર્વજો એટલે કે વડીલોની જેમ સામાન્ય પ્રકારના એક જ ઘરેડના કાર્યો અને એની પ્રતિક્રિયાના ચક્રવાતથી થોડા પણ આપણે આગળ વધી શકતા નથી અને જન્મ મરણના આ ચક્રમાં વારંવાર ફસાઈએ છીએ. થિયોસોફીમાં કર્મના વિશે ખૂબ સૂક્ષ્મતાથી અભ્યાસ કરાયો છે. એ મુજબ પ્રકૃતિના નિયમોનું શાસન સમગ્ર બ્રહ્માંડમાં છે, જેમાં કર્મનો નિયમ પણ આવી ગયો. કર્મનો કાયદો બધે એક સમાન છે. ઉપરથી લઈને નીચે સુધી સર્વને સમાન લાગુ પડે છે. આ કર્મના નિયમ વિશે અલગ અલગ હિન્દુ, જૈન અને બૌદ્ધ ધર્મમાં સમજાવ્યું છે, પણ વાત એક જ છે કે સર્વત્ર ન્યાય જેવું જ શાસન છે, તેમાં ક્યાંય અન્યાય થતો નથી. આ કર્મના કાયદા મુજબ આપણા વિચારો, શબ્દો, હેતુ અને કાર્યોની તમામ રેકોર્ડ રાખવામાં આવે છે, જેને આપણે આકાશિક રેકોર્ડ કહીએ છીએ. અને એ મુજબ આપણને જ આપણું કરેલું પાછું મળે છે અને એ રીતે આપણે ફરીને એમાંથી સંતુલન અને સંવાદિતાના પાઠો શીખતા જઈએ છીએ. કર્મના નિયમની કાર્યની સરખામણી હવામાન સાથે કરી છે. જેવી રીતે હવામાનમાં આવતા ફેરફારો માટે ઘણા બધા ભૌગોલિક પરિબળો જવાબદાર છે, તેમ જીવનમાં આવતા સારા માઠા સંજોગો ભૂતકાળના અનેક શારીરિક, માનસિક, આધ્યાત્મિક સ્તરોએ આપણે પાડેલી છાપ મુજબ ક્ષણમાં પરિણામો લાવે છે. કારણ કે કર્મ એ પ્રિઝમ જેવું બહુપરિમાણીય છે. તે રેખીય આકૃતિ જેવું સ્ટેટિક નથી. અહીં વ્યક્તિગત કર્મ અને પુનઃજન્મ વિશે જોઈએ તો વૃદ્ધિ પાછળની શક્તિ એ પોતે કર્મ જ છે. આપણે જે મુજબનું વાવ્યું હશે એ મુજબ પછીનું જીવન એટલે કે નવો જન્મ ધારણ કરવા કર્મ સૂત્રાત્મા અથવા અહંકારને અવતાર લેવા માટે દબાણ કરે છે. જેમ કરોડિયાની જેમ આપણે સતત વિચારો, કાર્યો અને શબ્દો દ્વારા આપણા જીવનનું નેટવર્ક સતત ચલાવતા રહીએ છીએ અને એની સારી અને ખરાબ અસર ભોગવીએ છીએ. એમાંથી શીખીએ છીએ અને ફરી થોડા આગળ વધીએ છીએ. અહીં કર્મને કોમળ દયાળુ માતા પણ કહી છે. ભૂતકાળના મોટા અને ખરાબ કાર્યોને લીધે પૃથ્વી પરનું જીવન ક્યારેક પીડાદાયક બને છે, તો ત્યારે મૃત્યુ પછી આશ્વાસન, આરામ અને આનંદની સ્થિતિ પણ અહીં આપણને જોવા મળે છે અને ફરીથી સ્વસ્થતા પ્રાપ્ત કરીને ફરી આગળની ગતિમાં આપણે જોડાઈએ છીએ. કર્મના બોધપાઠ વિશે અહીં બતાવે છે કે અહીં આપણે એ શીખીએ છીએ કે ઈચ્છા અને પસંદગી સાથે જવાબદારી પણ લાવે છે. મનુષ્ય પોતાના ભાગ્યનો વિધાતા બની શકે છે. કર્મનો ખ્યાલ ઉત્ક્રાંતિના વિકાસક્રમ સાથે જોડાયેલો છે અને ભૂતકાળની અસરોથી તે શીખીને સંવાદિતા, સમતુલા અને વૃદ્ધિ પ્રાપ્ત કરે છે. હવે તે પોતાના જીવનમાંથી શીખીને સ્વયંનો નિર્માતા બનતો જાય છે. અહીં વિપશ્યના જે ધ્યાનની એક ટેકનિક છે એ શીખવાથી પણ કર્મનું ફળ અને એની શરીર અને મન ઉપર કેવી અસર પડે છે, કઈ કઈ સંવેદનાઓની અનુભૂતિ થાય છે, તેને વિશિષ્ટ ભાવથી એટલે કે સાક્ષી ભાવથી જોવાથી તે સંવેદનાઓ ઓગળતી જાય છે અને સ્વ પર એની અસર થયા સિવાય પણ આપણે એમાંથી બહાર નીકળી શકીએ છીએ. અને છેલ્લે કર્મ નિયતિવાદ કે નિશ્ચયવાદ નથી. અહીં ધીમે ધીમે આ સૂત્રાત્મા શીખે છે કે આપનું જીવન નથી સંપૂર્ણ બંધનયુક્ત કે નથી સંપૂર્ણ મુક્ત, પણ જો દેવી જ્ઞાન અનુસાર નિર્ધારિત કરેલા માર્ગ અનુસાર જો જીવન જીવવામાં આવે તો આપણી પ્રગતિની અનંત સંભાવનાઓને ઓળખી શકાય છે. કૃષ્ણમૂર્તિની જેમ આપણે આપણા ઘરને પુનઃ વ્યવસ્થિત કરી શકીએ છીએ, જીવનમાં દરેક ક્ષેત્રની નકારાત્મકતાને સ્થાને હકારાત્મકતાને આવરીને. તો મને લાગે છે અહીં સુધી જે ટૂંકસાર છે એને મેં રજૂ કર્યું.
Okay. Thank you so much. Right on time you finished. Actually, you have 2 more minutes left, but it's all right. You can add it in the second part if you wish. Thank you, वर्षा जी. हर्षवर्धन भाई, वेलकम. आपका एक संक्षिप्त परिचय देना चाहूँगा. एजुकेशन आपका है BA इंग्लिश में और हिंदी में आपने किया है. MA विथ एंटायर इंग्लिश यू हैव डन. BEd इन इंग्लिश एंड ज्योग्राफी. इंग्लिश शिक्षक की तरह उन्होंने ग्रामीण इलाकों में 7 साल तक काम किया है. 32 साल तक वे श्री विद्यानगर हाई स्कूल अहमदाबाद से जुड़े रहे. वहाँ प्रिंसिपल की तरह वो रिटायर हुए 2011 में. और बहुत सारे उन्होंने एज ए कोऑर्डिनेटर गुजरात SSC बोर्ड के इंग्लिश पेपर्स और बोर्ड के एग्जाम को के जो पेपर्स होते हैं उसको 10 साल तक उन्होंने सेट किया है गवर्नमेंट के साथ. और हमेशा मुस्कुराते रहते हैं. थियोसॉफिकल एक्टिविटीज़ में उन्होंने अहमदाबाद लॉज ज्वाइन की. 1972 में सेक्रेटरी रहे 1980 तक. 86 में उन्होंने रोहित लॉज ज्वाइन की, वहाँ भी प्रेसिडेंट रहे 25 साल तक. वर्तमान में भी वो प्रेसिडेंट हैं, लेकिन गुजरात थियोसॉफिकल फेडरेशन के प्रेसिडेंट हैं. हाल ही में वो नेशनल लेक्चरर भी बने हैं पुनः, पहले भी थे. और उन्होंने एक मैगजीन भी निकाली थी थियोसॉफिक ज्योति, जिसके वो 6 साल तक एडिटर रहे और अब उन्होंने वो किसी और को सौंपा है. तो आइए हर्षवर्धन जी, आप इस विषय में इंग्लिश में अपना धन्यवाद.
नमस्कार. आज एक ऐसा मौका आया है कि सोनल जी हमारे मुख्य वक्ता है और जो विषय है उसके बारे में मुझे हिंदी में बताना है.
जी जी जी.
काफी.
अरे आप ऑफ हो गए सर. हाँ, ऑन हो गए. आपका समय शुरू होता है अब.
थैंक यू. ओके. हमारे कर्म की जो बात बताई है, जिसे हम कुछ कहते हैं कि जो क्रिया हम करते हैं, बड़े प्रचलित स्वरूप से ये सिर्फ क्रिया नहीं है, इसमें प्रतिक्रिया भी है. एक ऐसा वर्तुल बनता है. तो जिंदगी की आपाधापी में उसके ताने बाने को समझने की एक ऐसी पद्धति है जो हमारे जीवन व्यवहार को संतुलित बनाती है. सत्कर्म एवं कुकर्म की व्याख्या स्पष्ट होती है. हकीकत में कर्म के नियम को समझने के लिए इस बात को काफी ज्यादा सरल बनाया गया है. हकीकत में कर्म का नियम समझना काफी जटिल है और उसका कार्यक्षेत्र अत्यंत रहस्यमय है. कर्म के बारे में समझने का प्रयत्न ही हम हमारी मर्यादाओं को जानने के प्रति सजग करता है और हमारी अस्तित्व की जो भी जवाबदेही परिस्थिति है उससे भी हम सजग रहते हैं. इसकी समझदारी हमें किस प्रकार हमारी मर्यादाओं से अवगत कराती है, वह कैसे हमारे परिवर्तन के लिए वाहक बनती है, उसकी जानकारी प्राप्त करना उसका मकसद है. कर्म हमारे जीवन की नैया को पार करने के लिए हुकायंत्र स्वरूप का कार्य करती है. कर्म के बारे में जानना काफी मुश्किल है. उदाहरणों के माध्यम से उसके बारे में कुछ कुछ जान पाते हैं. एक उदाहरण लीजिए. काफी हजारों साल पहले आप एक समुद्री मुसाफिर थे और आपको जाना था पूर्व की ओर, क्योंकि पूर्व दिशा में पवन चलता रहता था और स्वाभाविक है कि आप पूर्व में ही जाएंगे. लेकिन शायद हो सकता है कि आपको अमेरिका जाना हो और उसके बजाय आप जापान पहुंच जाए. तो क्योंकि जो पवन की दिशा जो थी या उसका जो जो, जो ताकत थी उसकी, उसके मुताबिक आप चल रहे थे। अब पवन की नियति जो है वो बाद में अब देखते हैं कि तय हो जाती है। आज ऐसी बात नहीं होती। आज हम पवन के बारे में अनुमान कर सकते हैं। पवन हमें कहीं भी किसी भी दिशा में भटका नहीं सकता, क्योंकि पतवार हमारे हाथ होती है। इस बात को बूझना, जान लेना हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण है, और हम कर्म से प्रेरित होते हैं। हकीकत में हमारे डीएनए में सिर्फ मैं ही नहीं, लेकिन मेरे पूर्वज भी उसमें सम्मिलित है। उसी प्रक्रिया को हम दोहराते जाते हैं और बार बार दोहराते हैं। कुदरत के कानून के मुताबिक ही सब कुछ उद्भव होता है, और उसी प्रकार ही पनपता है, उसी प्रकार ही विकसित होता है। इसी नियम को हम कर्म का नियम कहते हैं, जो संगीन है, जो पार्थिव स्वरूप में भी है और अपार्थिव स्वरूप में भी कार्यरत है। हमारे दैनिक कार्यों में भी वह इस प्रकार से निहित है। यह नियम कभी भी गलती नहीं करता। उसकी क्रिया का परिणाम निश्चित ही होता है। हमारे हिंदू साहित्य के अनुसार यह नियम अदृष्टा है। यह ऊर्जा प्रक्रिया का स्वरूप है। ऊर्ध्व गति का वो प्राप्त करने के लिए पुनः ऐसी ऊर्जा प्राप्त करता है, और बाद में वो पृथ्वी की ओर फिर से दोबारा अग्रसर होता है, यानी पार्थिव स्वरूप में दोबारा वो आ जाता है। इस प्रकार हमारे जीवन में कुछ भी जो है वो बदलता नहीं है, और जो बदला है वो हजारों सालों के साथ जो मनुष्य जी रहा है, तो क्या उसमें परिवर्तन आया? कृष्ण जी हमें ये बताते हैं कि हजारों सालों से वही मनुष्य वही है, वही पुराना मनुष्य है। क्योंकि जो भी पूर्वज हमारे कार्य किया करते थे वो भी आज हम करते हैं उसी प्रकार। हाँ, बदलाव आए हैं, लेकिन वो उस तरह से नहीं है जो हम उसी श्रेणी में रख पाते हैं, जिस श्रेणी में हम वैज्ञानिक जो भी उत्कर्ष हुए उसका समर्थन मिला, उसकी बाबत हम जान सकते हैं। लेकिन ये कुछ ऐसी बात है जो बुद्ध धर्म में जिसे हम स्कंद कहते हैं, यानी संस्कार कहते हैं, और उसी संस्कारों से हम संचालित होते हैं। तो हमारी जिंदगी में हमने इस प्रकार उसी संस्कारों को पाया है और हम संचालित होते रहते हैं। यह गुरुत्वाकर्षण के नियम के मुताबिक भी नहीं है जरूर। गुरुत्वाकर्षण का नियम जो है वो तो वही है, उसमें कोई आप परिवर्तन नहीं कर पाते हैं। जो भी चीज ऊपर से गिरेगी वो नीचे ही जाएगी। ये आकस्मिक नियम भी नहीं है, लेकिन हमारे कर्मों को आकाशिक रिकॉर्ड में उस तरह से लिपिबद्ध किया जाता है, और ये कार्य करने वाले लिपिका कहलाते हैं। तो ये भी एक मान्यता है, उसको समझना जरूरी है, और ये नियम हमें पुनः पुनः ऊर्जावान भी बनाता है। समग्र ब्रह्मांड में पार्थिव स्वरूप से लेकर सूक्ष्मतम स्वरूपों में हर एक स्तर में कर्म नियम विद्यमान है। दैनिक जीवन के हर एक कार्य के साथ इस नियम का आध्यात्मिक आयाम भी जुड़ा है। कार्य एवं परिणाम का नियम, यानी कि कार्य कारण का नियम, सजा के भुगतान का यथार्थ नियम, करुणा का नियम एवं संपूर्ण न्याय का नियम। अगर जो भी गलतियां होती है उसकी प्रताड़ना से बचने की जो भी युक्तियां होती है वे नैतिक दुनिया में हानिकारक होते हुए संवादिता को भी बाधित करती है। बहुत अच्छी बात बताई उन्होंने। अतृप्त इच्छाओं के परिणाम स्वरूप पुनः जन्म के नियम अनुसार बाध्य होने की वो नियति है। मैडम ब्लेवेट्स्की के अनुसार कर्म वैश्विक एवं शाश्वत नियम है। कुदरत की रचना में जो भी नियम है उसमें कर्म नियम मूल स्वरूप से व्याप्त है। इस नियम में कभी भी गलती नहीं होती। मानसिक, शारीरिक और आध्यात्मिक स्तर पर यह अविरत बिना क्षति कार्यरत है। कर्म का यह कानून परम सत्यार्थ है, जो वैश्विक स्वरूपों के हर एक स्तर में सातत्यपूर्ण है। उसकी गिरफ्त में जो भी आता है वो बाहर नहीं निकल सकता, लेकिन उसका कार्य अत्यंत गूढ़ एवं रहस्यमय है। कर्म होते रहना स्वभावतः है। वह संवादिता स्थापन का वाहक है, विश्व में संतुलन बनाए रखने के लिए कार्यरत है। उसे के ही प्रभाव में विश्व का अस्तित्व है। उसका कार्य हमेशा अंतर रचनाओं में जुड़कर एक पद्धति अनुसार होता रहता है, जिसके प्रभाव से कोई भी अछूता नहीं रह जाता। सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन महाग्रंथ में जो सिद्धांत कर्म का बताया गया है, वह जैसे के साथ तैसा, आई फॉर एन आई वाला नहीं है, यानी वैर भावना का वो द्योतक नहीं है। मैडम ब्लेवेट्स्की ने स्थूल स्वरूप से जो कार्य कारण का नियम है उसका संकेत नहीं दिया है, या यूं कहिए कि कोई पूर्व धारणा या आयोजन स्वरूप कार्य और परिणाम को लेकर यंत्रवत्ता की बात भी नहीं है। कर्म तो प्रवाही स्वरूप है, स्थिति स्थापक है। उसके सातत्यपूर्ण परिणामों को नवीन आयामों का ढांचा प्राप्त होता ही रहता है। कर्म जो कार्य करता रहता है उसे हवामान की आगाहियों के साथ तुलना की गई है। एक ही जगह पर जो हवामान की भविष्यवाणी की जाती है उसमें असंख्य घटकों का मिश्रण होता है, जिनका संबंध वर्तमान, भूतकाल, स्थानिक और दूरी पर रहता है, और उस पर अन्य नवीनतम प्रभावों का ऐसा असर होता रहता है कि निश्चित पद्धति में भी परिवर्तन दिखाई देता है। कर्म प्रक्रिया भी बहुआयामी है, वह सीधा रेखांकन नहीं है। उस पर शारीरिक, मानसिक एवं आध्यात्मिक स्तरों का प्रभाव होता ही रहता है। वह भूतकाल की गर्ताओं का असर भी बताता है। भूतकाल के कारण वह निश्चितता की स्थिति में रहता है, लेकिन भविष्य को सो दूर रहता है। वह असंख्य कारणों का परिणाम है। इसी जिंदगानी में बोए हुए बीजों का परिणाम स्वरूप फलों को हम अगले जन्म में पाते हैं। कर्म ही सूत्रात्मा या ईगो को पुनर्जन्म के लिए बाध्य करता है। वही तो पुनर्जन्म के लिए शक्ति बनाता है। जन्म से मृत्यु पर्यंत हर एक मनुष्य अपने इर्द गिर्द ताने बाने बुनता ही रहता है, जिस प्रकार मकड़ी अपना जाला बुनती है। नियति की इसी प्रक्रिया में मार्गदर्शन भी प्राप्त होता है। आकाशी तत्व की वह आवाज आती है, या तो फिर हमारी बाहरी अदृश्य जगत की शक्ति वो होती है, या तो फिर हम आंतरिक व्यक्तित्व उसमें कार्य करता है। इसीलिए इविल जीनियस या शैतान भी कहते हैं, वह भी मनुष्य स्वरूप से कार्यान्वित होता है। मनुष्य को ये दोनों दिशा सूचन करते हैं, लेकिन उसमें से एक का निर्मूल होना निश्चित है। मनुष्य को ये दोनों दिशा सूचन करते हैं, तो क्यों इसका अंतिम चरण क्या होगा? तो अंतिम जो ताना हम बुन लेते हैं, तब उसी जाल में वह अपने आप को फंसा हुआ पाता है। तब वह संपूर्णतया अपनी स्वयं रची हुई नियति का गुलाम बन जाता है। समय के बारे में बताना। कर्म एक स्निग्ध मुलायम
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left.
ओके,
2 minutes पहले आपके लिए।
एवं दयालु माता की तरह है। हमारी पार्थिव जिंदगी में हमें गत जन्मों के गलत कर्मों के लिए पीड़ा देती है, और मृत्यु के बाद हमें सांत्वना या पीड़ा मुक्त करती है। ऐसी शांत और आनंदमय स्थिति को देवाचन कहते हैं। यहाँ मनुष्य की आत्मा को सहायता प्राप्त होती है, शांति प्राप्त होती है और आराम मिलता है। शरीर से मुक्त हुआ अहम अमर्त्य इच्छा के साथ अनजाने स्वरूप में नए जन्म के लिए विभिन्न स्वनिर्धारित स्थिति में कार्यान्वित होता रहता है, जिसका आधार उसके कर्म पर, उसकी मनस्थिति पर, या अच्छे या बुरे कार्यों के कारण पर रहता है, जिसे हम गुण और अवगुण कहते हैं। मैडम ब्लेवेट्स्की को यह बात अच्छी लगती है कि एक पत्थर जो तालाब में गिरता है वह खुद वलयों का निर्माण करता है। वही वलय या तरंगे बार बार आती रहती है, फिर शांत हो जाती है और तालाब फिर से शांत हो जाता है। समग्र कार्य इसी प्रकार आंदोलन प्रकट करते हैं। शांत चित्त में जो वलय जिस जगह से उत्पन्न होते हैं और उत्पात मचाते हैं, तब यह तय है कि उसी जगह से ही या उसी बिंदु से संतुलन या संवादिता को बनाया जाता है। और अंतिम बात यहां कर लूं, पसंदगी का मतलब जवाबदेही, स्वरचित नियति, कर्म उत्क्रांति के साथ कार्यरत है, बड़े ही पैमाने पर कार्यरत है। मतलब कि वही उत्क्रांति व्यक्तिगत जीवन में विकास की द्योतक है। वह नितांत रूप से जो भी परिणाम प्राप्त होता है उसी के कारण को प्रज्ञा स्वरूप में, बौद्धिक स्वरूप में और समान भाव स्वरूप में समायोजित करता है। इस प्रकार हमारी निजी जिंदगी ही हमें उसका ब्यौरा बता देती है, कैसे पढ़ना व जान ले तो, क्योंकि हम हमारी जिंदगी से ही उसे सीखते हैं। नमस्ते अस्तु इति शिवम।
Thank you, Harshvardhan bhai. And Sonal ji, please go ahead with your part 2. Thank you.
Thank you. So as we'll just continue from that point, that karma is actually a choice resulting in responsibility, and it is self-made destiny. So it is not fatalism, it is not determinism, it is not predestined in that sense. Our lives are neither absolutely determined nor absolutely free. We live according to this determined track because it is a prarabdha karma. So in that track, we are living, but within it, there is unformed potentiality. So there is potentiality which is not yet formed. And in that lies the opportunity for change and for growth for us. So this is very important for us to understand that we live within the determined track, but within that there is unformed potentiality, and therein lies the opportunity for change and growth for us. And so scanning our lives for repeating and recurring patterns, it can reveal the areas in which we need to work. And Krishnamurti used to call it, put your house in order. If we repress harmful tendencies, if we try to eliminate defects and counteract negative elements within us, look at us in a very, very impartial as a third person and see what is it that is happening in our lives. So when we do that, when we repress all this and try to eliminate defects, just like how a sculptor is looking at his sculpture and he's able to see the image within that, and he's removing all the unwanted superfluous parts. Similarly, we have to do it for us. And that can set up new causes which alter the karmic outcome of past actions. And this is very interesting because we believe that nothing can change as far as karma is concerned, but we can set up new causes which can alter the karmic outcome of past actions and prarabdha karma also. Any help that we offer others, any service that we perform for worthwhile causes, any helpful positive thoughts and emotions we send out, all these will affect the karmic balance. Things can be happening in Ukraine or things can be happening in any other part of the world, and there is so much of human trafficking going on, so much violence against animals. But when we send out good thoughts, that really sends out energy from a higher plane or field, and this is more powerful than the physical energy. So we need not feel dissipated about this. According to HPB, it's the law of occult dynamics that a given amount of energy expended on the spiritual or astral plane is productive of far greater results than the same amount which you expend on the physical objective plane of existence. And the same thing, if you take it forward, a karma done by a person who is unevolved will have maybe lesser effect than even slight karma, negative karma done by a person who is evolved, that can have very, very big consequence for that person. Now, when we understand this, then we also understand that meditation, feelings of gratitude, prayer for the welfare of all, love for all beings, let love be welling up in our hearts. all these have far greater energy and potency than we realize. And so in this light, we have to understand destiny and free will. The general understanding of karma implies that individuals are so bound by circumstances or by some external power that no effort of their own can free them. And these are all the common misconceptions and oversimplification of the understanding of karma, that whatever you have sown, you are going to reap. There is nothing that can change that, and nothing can free you from that. Now, this is opposite of karma, because of karma, one who generates causes can modify or neutralize the resulting force by pouring new energies in new direction. I might have done karma, but in this life, at this moment, I can modify that or neutralize the force by pouring in new energy in new direction. We should begin acting from within instead of ever following impulses from without. We must face the consequences, good or bad, of our past actions. But when those consequences occur, we are free to deal with them in creative manner or in an uncreative manner. Uncreative manner is to have reactions in a reactive manner. And if we are responding to that in a reactive manner, then we are perpetuating the energy which brought them about, the original energy. In the former case, we resolve the problem. When we are dealing with them in a creative manner, then we resolve the problem and we dissipate the energy. And in that sense, karma is not foreordained or fixed. It is fluid. We fulfill our karmic debts when we accept the adverse or painful circumstances with equanimity. This we also saw when Varsha was talking about the Vipassana technique, where you are looking at the sensations in an equanimous manner. If there is an attitude of supreme surrender, of unswerving faith in the law of karma, then the karmic debt can be very easily paid off. And we are not creating new karma while paying off the debt of the adverse karma. So that is why we have been asked in theosophy not to propitiate gods for anything personal. And similarly, if good deeds are done with a motive to accumulate good or to accumulate merit, it has no effect, because karma is more intention than action. And so if the intention is to gather good or the merit for ourselves, then it is not a good karma. It does not result in good karma. Our perspective in the moment is the most important thing. Minute by minute, we are probably paying off some karma or the other. There is this well-known parable of a Chinese farmer. It's a Zen story where whatever happens to him, his horse is stolen and his son breaks his leg. For everything, his answer is nothing is good or bad. His answer is maybe so, maybe not. He does not attribute any action in the good or the bad category. Our past arising from the choices already made is fate, because we already made choices and that has created in the past, and that is fate. But our present is in our hands, and the present is in the realm of free will. As we exercise our free will, so will our future be determined. Sanchit karma, as you know, is accumulated karma of all the previous lives. Prarabdha karma is a ripe karma, which is now set in motion in this life. And kriyaman karma, or present karma, that is being created in this life. So we have influence over the prarabdha karma also, in the way we respond to that, and also on the kriyaman karma, because that is something that we are creating right now. Destiny or fate is the karma that has ripened so that its expression cannot be averted or postponed. It's like almost like a branch or a ripe fruit on the tree. It's ready to fall, which falls by the ground at the slightest contact of a bird or even a gentle breeze. This cannot be changed. And as was told earlier, karma is the doctrine of responsibility and reincarnation is the doctrine of hope, because there is a new beginning, a new way of living, a new way of being in the world. So in reality, as the Zen master says, nothing is good and nothing is bad, but all is opportunity, the very best opportunity, because the soul knows what it needs for increasing its powers and keeping its energy. We have to also remember that the law of evolution and the law of karma, they work in tandem, and so we are always put in the best possible situation where we can learn and we can grow. How do we transcend the karma? Can we transcend the karmic effects of the prarabdha karma? As a human being, we do not have a complete understanding of all the inner states of ourselves, and hence it is impossible to predict the karmic consequence of any act, because act in the physical body is the last stage. But before that, we have acted in the mental plane, we have acted in the emotional plane, and we have acted in the etheric plane and the astral plane, and then only we are actually doing the action in the physical sense. So it's impossible to predict the consequence of any act. We can only make general statement. For example, violent thoughts and actions will result in painful results, and loving thoughts and actions will, done in compassion, will result in pleasant results. But the effects of violence and hatred can, at least to some degree, be mitigated if the energy that caused them is not returned by those to whom it is directed. As both Buddha and Jesus pointed out, love overcomes hatred. So though the energy which is unleashed by the bad karma and by the effect of violence and hatred, it can actually be transmuted, it can actually change if we do not reciprocate to that. In the Voice of the Silence, the transcendental virtue, Shila, is described as the key that counterbalances the cause and the effect and leaves no further room for karmic action. Light on the Path advises that every person must begin to regard himself as a part of the vast multitude. Sorry, I was just muting something. So we are like a grain of sand which is washed hither and thither, and which now and then gets a chance to lie for a moment in sunshine. We are just like that, a grain of sand. And there must be willingness to suffer and be inconvenienced like any other person in the world, because we are part of the entire humankind. So when a man is able to regard his own life as a part of the whole like this, he will no longer struggle in order to obtain anything for himself. To perform all actions which are obligatory, such as duty or dharma, with pure motive and for the welfare of humanity. Not to desire fruits of action, which is what Bhagavad Gita has said, not being attached to such fruits or action itself. And as we advance on the path of compassion, we should make ourselves a center for good, a force that makes for righteousness. So we have to abandon kartrutva bhav or karta bhav and the entire sense of doership. And that is when we act as immediate agents or nimitta matra, we become instrumental. Karma and nirvana. Blavatsky devoted her life to pointing the way to spiritual freedom. She said that every human being is born with a longing to be free. So in The Secret Doctrine, the 2nd volume, she writes that law in nature which implants in man as well as in every beast a passionate, inherent and instinctive desire for freedom and self-guidance. This is inherent in us. We need both direction and we also need freedom. Direction is what karma gives. It is the restriction that keeps us in a certain situation. And from there, by self-guidance, we can achieve freedom. And life is like a checkerboard. If I can give an example, that we have to move in both the black and the white squares. We can't play checkers if you have got a monochrome board. You have to have the contrasting squares. To do it, we need both freedom and direction. And these are like the pairs of opposites. And we have to rise above them. We have to transcend them. There are 2 kinds of freedom. There is freedom from and freedom to. Freedom from it releases us from the tyranny of our environment in which we are put by our prarabdha karma. So it is a passive kind of freedom. And this is what we are always searching for in life. We are praying to God, or we are wishing for ourselves to be released from this tyranny of circumstances, which is prarabdha karma. But freedom too is what we are talking about. And this freedom too empower us to guide ourselves, and hence it is a kind of active freedom. So we may not be able to get freedom from the environment which is created by karma, but we have freedom to guide ourselves. We have freedom to respond to the environment from a higher perspective, from our higher self, from higher understanding. We have the freedom to be equanimous. We have the freedom to not be affected by it psychologically and perpetuate and create more prarabdha karma in the present and now. We have the freedom to make life-altering decisions right now. A person, when he has experienced this freedom too, and he is on the spiritual path, even an astrologer may not be able to predict, as everything changes, and we entered an uncharted territory because we have achieved some kind of freedom. Now, Master K.H., he advised A.P. Sinha to study the two concepts of karma and nirvana as profoundly as he can. He called it the double key to metaphysics, karma and nirvana. Karma is what binds you, and nirvana is what liberates you. Karma is basic to the world we live in. It is this world of samsara, which means that which flows together. It is used as a name for our everyday world, because ours is a world of becoming, in which things are ever changing, are flowing, and in which everything affects everything else through the law of karma, and hence all things flow together. Sansara is the world of bondage, which is the opposite of nirvana or liberation. It is a world of birth and death, and that is governed by the karmic law. And karma itself is curiously twofold. On the one hand, it ties us to this world of samsara, and on the other hand, because karma is linked with the concepts of choice and free will, you cannot have karma without free will and choice. It is also our key for freedom to escape from the samsara and reach nirvana. The way in is the way out. The way in samsara, in the bondage, is also the way out of being free. What binds us also frees us. It is the action that binds us, and it is the action that frees us. What entangles us in the world also releases us from the world. So karma is like a revolving door. The problem is that it revolves so fast that before we start to exit it, it whooshes around and we are back in it again. Now, the meaning of the word nirvana is to blow out. It is extinguishing of all limitations. And so it is our key for freedom from karma and its consequences. Though karma is all around us, and it may be something that we have more of than we want. Nirvana may seem to us like a very far off and a distant place, or a distant prospect. But nirvana is also all around us. So every freedom from any limitation is a kind of nirvana, because it frees us from that condition. Now, this condition can be very small. It can be a habit. It can be a prejudice. It can be a way of living. It can be a way of responding to something. But whatever keeps us within this groove, it can be transcended. And then that limitation is extinguished. So we have reached nirvana in that level, in that space, and in that time. So in reality, there are so many levels at which consciousness operates, and each level, freedom is a kind of mini nirvana, because it liberates us from that state of being. Similarly, we can be free in the psychological realm also, in the realm of kama manas, the content of consciousness. So there are these two attitudes towards karma and nirvana. One that seeks to escape from the world of samsara, the world of the flowing world, and the other is to enter the world of nirvana and ultimately never to return from that. So it is our ignorance that makes us see them as opposites, but in fact they are two sides of one coin. and two aspects of one reality. The cause and effect of one action. We live our lives between the two poles of karma and nirvana, which are restrictions and free choices. Karma is restriction. It limits what we have got. It limits what we can do, and it limits even our thought process. Nirvana is freedom. It's unrestricted choice. Karma limits what we have got, and nirvana is unrestricted. Our goal, true goal, is neither to be controlled by karma nor to escape from it, but to know it and to use it knowingly. And just as the example of the seafarer which we had given earlier, once you know how the wind is going to blow and how the waves are going to be and what is the intensity, and you have a map with you, you have all the guidance, and then you can escape from that and you can be free of that. So karma and nirvana are closely linked. Law and freedom, destiny and free will, they are the double key to spiritual growth, and it frees us from what limits us and guides us to realize our full potential. We are not to seek nirvana by withdrawing from the world of karma, but by realizing the interdependence of law or restrictions and freedom. So we have to live within the world, and within the world is where we have to find the way to be free from it, not by escaping or running away from that, or going into a cocoon and isolating ourselves. Voice of the silence says that shalt thou abstain from action, not so shall gain thy soul its freedom. To reach nirvana, one must gain self-knowledge. And the very, very well-known sentence, statement made in Voice of the Silence, self-knowledge is of loving deeds the child. And it's a splendid verse, and perhaps the most important of theosophical writings. There was a time when some of the students had complained to Blavatsky that we are discouraged. It is so difficult to live, what is expected of us. And she advised them to read the Voice of the Silence. And she said, this is the sentence that is most important. Self-knowledge is of loving deeds the child. That is the ideal of theosophy, to liberate ourselves by learning about ourselves through unselfish action in the world. And by learning about ourselves, we reach freedom. So liberation requires the head, the heart, and the hands. By head, we come to knowledge, by our heart to love, and by our hands to deeds. To conclude, we live in a very just universe. Whatever we are receiving that is created by ourselves, we are responsible for whatever situation we find ourselves in, and we have the power to change our circumstances. Thank you.
Sir, you are mute, sir.
Varsha ji, please go ahead with part 2. Thank you, Sonal ji.
ચોક્કસ. હવે આપણે ભાગ 2 નો ટૂંક સાર જોઈએ. નિયતિ અને સ્વતંત્ર ઈચ્છા. કર્મની સામાન્ય સમજ એ છે કે વ્યક્તિ પોતાના કર્મફળને બદલી શકતો નથી, પરંતુ ઈચ્છા દ્વારા જે કારણ પેદા થાય છે તેને નવી દિશામાં નવી શક્તિઓ રેડીને પરિણામની બળને સુધારી અથવા નિષ્ક્રિય કરી શકે છે. હાલ વર્તમાન એ ભૂતકાળની અસરોથી બનેલું ભાગ્ય છે. ભવિષ્ય હજી નથી અને વર્તમાન આપણા હાથમાં છે. તેની આથી સ્વતંત્ર ઈચ્છા શક્તિનો અહીં ઉપયોગ કરીને ભૂતકાળના કર્મફળના આવેગને ઓછો કરી એને નવી દિશા આપી વર્તમાનને સંપૂર્ણ હાથમાં લઈ ભવિષ્ય બદલી અથવા જોઈએ એવું બનાવી શકાય છે. કર્મ એ જવાબદારી અને પુનઃજન્મની આશાનો સિદ્ધાંત છે. અહીં જૈન માસ્ટર અનુસાર વાસ્તવમાં કઈ સારું કે કઈ ખરાબ નથી, પણ તે એક તક છે. કારણ કે આત્મા જાણે છે કે તેની શક્તિ વધારવા અને જાળવવા શું કરવું જોઈએ. તો જવાબ મૌનનો નાદ પુસ્તકમાં HBPએ આપ્યો છે કે શીલ અર્થાત ચરિત્ર જે ક્રિયા અને કારણની અસરને સંતુલિત કરે છે, તો એ ચાવીનો અહીં આપણે શીલરૂપી ચાવીનો ઉપયોગ કરવો. સાથે માર્ગ પ્રકાશની પુસ્તકમાં જણાવ્યું છે કે હુંપણું કરતા તમે સમગ્ર ભીડ અથવા સમગ્ર જીવનનો પોતાને ભાગ ગણવો, જેથી પોતાના સ્વ માટે, પોતાને કંઈ મેળવવા માટે સંઘર્ષ કરવો ના પડે, તેમજ પોતાનો ધર્મ કે ફરજ શુદ્ધ અને પવિત્રતાથી અને માનવજાતના કલ્યાણ અર્થે જ કરવો. કર્મના ફળની ઈચ્છા પણ ના કરવી, કોઈ એવી ક્રિયામાં આસક્ત પણ ન રહેવું, કર્તા ભાવનો ત્યાગ કરવો. આપણે ફક્ત નિમિત્ત છીએ. વધુ ને વધુ આ જો ભાવ રાખીશું તો સારાપણાના કેન્દ્ર તરફ આપણે આગળ વધી શકીશું. કર્મ અને નિર્માણ. મેડમ બ્લેવાટ્સ્કીએ ગુપ્ત જ્ઞાન સંહિતાના બીજા ભાગમાં અને અન્ય બીજા પુસ્તકોમાં જણાવ્યું છે કે દરેક મનુષ્ય મુક્ત થવાની પ્રબળ ઝંખના સાથે જન્મે છે અને આ માટે તે સ્વતંત્રતા જે તેને મળેલી છે એનો ઉપયોગ કરી શકે છે. જેમ મેડમ બ્લેવાટ્સ્કીએ પોતાનું જીવન આધ્યાત્મિક સ્વતંત્રતા માટે ઉપયોગ કર્યું, એમ એ રીતે આપણે પણ સાચી દિશામાં જવા માટે સ્વ માર્ગદર્શન અને સ્વતંત્રતા બંનેની જરૂર છે અને એનો ઉપયોગ આપણે કરી શકીએ છીએ. આપણું જીવન એ ચેસની રમતના બોર્ડ જેવું છે. જો એ બોર્ડમાં વિરોધાભાસ ના હોય તો રમત આગળ વધી જ ના શકાય. જો એક જ કલરનું બોર્ડ હોય તો રમતના બોર્ડનો કોઈ જ મતલબ નથી. આથી જીવનમાં પણ આવો વિરોધાભાસ જરૂરી છે. સ્વતંત્રતા બે પ્રકારની છે, નિષ્ક્રિય સ્વતંત્રતા અને સક્રિય સ્વતંત્રતા. જેમ કે આજુબાજુના પર્યાવરણની અસરમાંથી પોતાને મુક્ત કરવી એ નિષ્ક્રિય સ્વતંત્રતા છે, પણ પોતાના સ્વ માર્ગદર્શનમાંથી જે આવે છે એ સક્રિય સ્વતંત્રતા છે. માસ્ટર KH AP સિનેટને કર્મ અને નિર્વાણની આ બે વિભાવનાઓનો શક્ય એટલો ઊંડો અભ્યાસ કરવાની સલાહ આપી હતી. આપણે જે વિશ્વમાં જીવીએ છીએ એમાં કર્મ એ મૂળભૂત છે. આ વિશ્વમાં વસ્તુઓ સતત એક પ્રવાહમાં બદલાતી રહે છે. અહીં આ વિશ્વમાં સંસાર એ મુક્તિ કે નિર્વાણની વિરુદ્ધનું વિશ્વ છે. અહીં જન્મ અને મૃત્યુની દુનિયા છે અને તે કર્મના કાયદાથી સંચાલિત થાય છે. કર્મ પોતે વિચિત્ર રીતે ગહન અને બેવડું છે. તે એક તરફ સંસારની દુનિયા સાથે બાંધે છે તો બીજી બાજુ તે પસંદગી અને સ્વતંત્રતાના ખ્યાલ સાથે પણ સંકળાયેલું છે, જે મુક્તિ તરફ લઈ જાય છે. સ્વતંત્ર ઈચ્છા અને પસંદગી વિના કર્મ થઈ શકતું નથી. કર્મ એ ફરતું દ્વાર છે. બહારનું દ્વાર એ સંસાર તરફ અને અંદરનું દ્વાર નિર્વાણ તરફ દોરી જાય છે. પરંતુ આ દ્વાર એટલી ઝડપથી ફરે છે કે બહાર જતા અંદરના દ્વાર તરફ અને અંદરના દ્વાર તરફથી બહારના દ્વાર તરફ આપણે બહુ ઝડપથી ધકેલાઈ જઈએ છીએ. આપણે સૌ જાણીએ છીએ કે નિર્વાણ એટલે બધી જ મર્યાદાઓ, સમસ્યાઓ અને પુનઃજન્મના ચક્રમાંથી મુક્તિ. તો કર્મ એ આ મુક્તિ પામવાની ચાવી આપે છે, જે સ્વતંત્રતા અને અનિયંત્રિત પસંદગી પણ આપે છે. પરંતુ આપનું ધ્યેય ન તો કર્મ દ્વારા અંકુશ હેઠળ આવવાનું છે કે ના તો એમાંથી છટકી જવાનું છે, પરંતુ કર્મને ઊંડાઈથી જાણવાનું છે. તેની અસર આપણા ઉપર કેવી રીતે થાય છે એ સમજવાનું છે. કર્મ જે આપણી ગર્ભિત વિકાસની શક્યતાઓને કેવી રીતે ઉજાગર કરે છે, આપણને માર્ગદર્શન આપે છે, એ જાણવાનું છે. આપણે નિર્વાણ મેળવી આ દુનિયામાંથી ખસી જવાનું નથી, પરંતુ કાયદા, પ્રતિબંધો અને સ્વતંત્રતાની પરસ્પરની અસરની જે અનુભૂતિ છે એને કરવાની છે. મૌનના અવાજમાં HPB કહે છે, તમે એક પણ ક્ષણ ક્રિયાથી દૂર નહીં રહી શકો, પરંતુ આપણે આત્મજ્ઞાન પ્રાપ્ત કરવાનું છે, જે ક્રિયા બંધન તરફ નહીં પરંતુ સ્વતંત્રતા અર્થાત મુક્તિ કે નિર્વાણ અપાવે. એકવાર મેડમ બ્લેવાટ્સ્કીને કેટલાક વિદ્યાર્થીઓએ જીવનની નિરાશાજનક સમસ્યાઓ વિશે વાત કરી, ત્યારે મેડમ બ્લેવાટ્સ્કીએ એમને મૌનનો નાદ પુસ્તકનો અભ્યાસ કરવા જણાવેલું, જે થિયોસોફીના આદર્શો અંગેનું ઉત્તમ પુસ્તક છે. સાથે તે આપણને એ જ્ઞાન તરફ દોરી જાય છે જે આત્મમુક્તિ અપાવે. વ્યક્તિએ નિર્વાણ સુધી પહોંચવા માટે આત્મજ્ઞાન મેળવવું જ જોઈએ. આ આત્મજ્ઞાન એ બાળકે કરેલા પ્રેમાળ કાર્યોનું પરિણામ છે. આ વિશ્વમાં નિસ્વાર્થ કર્મ દ્વારા પોતાના વિશે શીખીને પોતાને આ પ્રક્રિયામાંથી મુક્ત કરવી અને પોતાને સ્વતંત્ર કરવી, જે સાચા અર્થમાં નિર્વાણ છે. આ સ્વતંત્રતા કે નિર્વાણ ફક્ત અને ફક્ત નિસ્વાર્થ કાર્યો દ્વારા અને પોતાના વિશે આત્મજ્ઞાન પ્રાપ્ત કરીને જ મેળવી શકાય છે. અને આ મુક્તિ માટે 3 બાબતો માથું, હાથ અને હૃદય જરૂરી છે. અહીં માથું અર્થાત મસ્તક એ જ્ઞાનનું પ્રતીક છે, હૃદય જે પ્રેમનું પ્રતીક છે અને હાથ જે થકી ક્રિયા અથવા કર્મ થાય છે. તો આ થકી માથું, હૃદય અને હાથ થકી જ આપણે આ વિશ્વમાં નિસ્વાર્થ ભર્યા કાર્યો કરીને પોતાની જાતને નિર્વાણ અપાવી શકીએ છીએ. અસ્તુ.
Thank you so much. Harshavan bhai, please go ahead with your second part.
नमस्कार.
Namaskar.
दोबारा इसी विषय पर जो आगे उन्होंने बताया है उस पर हम जाएंगे.
जी सर.
और उसमें जो नियति और मुक्तता उसकी बात उन्होंने बताई. उसके पहले कृष्ण जी का एक विधान काफी अच्छा लगा, जो कहते हैं कि अपने घर को आपको ठीक ठाक करना है और इसीलिए जो नुकसानकारक परिस्थितियां हैं उससे दूरी बनाए रखनी है, हमारी कमजोरियों को दूर करना है और हमारे नकारात्मक जो चीजें हैं उसका भी सामना करना है, उन तत्वों का सामना करना है. दूसरों की हम जो भी मदद करते हैं, अच्छे कार्यों में हाथ बटाते हैं, तब हमें सकारात्मक विचारों से और मानसिक संवेदनाओं का इस प्रकार एक जो संतुलन बनता है वो उसी उपलक्ष्य में हम सही इरादे रखते हैं और उसी विचारों में रहकर उसका महत्व समझते हैं. फिर बात आई नियति और मुक्तता की. काफी अच्छा वो विषय है. उसमें जो सामान्यतः माना जाता है कि व्यक्ति अपनी बाहरी परिस्थितियों में इतना बंधा हुआ होता है कि उसे कोई भी प्रयत्न मुक्त करने से असफल होता है. यह बात कर्म से विपरीत है. कर्म के कारण ही व्यक्ति नई ऊर्जा का वहन करता है और उसके परिणाम संबंधी स्वरूपों को बदल सकता है और उसे बेअसर भी बना सकता है. फिर है संचित और आगामी एवं प्रारब्ध की समझ. जो कर्म पक गए हैं वे नियति या नसीब के स्वरूप में प्राप्त होते हैं, जिनको हम सर्वथा रोक भी नहीं पाते या किसी निर्धारित समय तक भी नहीं रोक पाते. ऐसे कर्म तो किसी वृक्ष पर पके हुए फल जैसे हैं, जो नीचे गिरने के लिए किसी पक्षी की चोंच का प्रहार या जोरों से आए हुए पवन के झोंकों का ही उसे इंतजार होता है. कर्म जवाबदेही का सिद्धांत है और पुनर्जन्म आशा का भी सिद्धांत है. हकीकत में कुछ भी अच्छा या कुछ भी बुरा होता ही नहीं, सिर्फ वह तो अवसर है या मौका है. सबसे श्रेष्ठ मौका इसीलिए है कि जीवात्मा को शक्ति और ऊर्जा बढ़ाने का उसमें प्रयत्न होता है. वॉइस ऑफ द साइलेंस में एक ऐसे ऊंचे उठे हुए सद्गुण की बात बताई, जो शील है, जो कार्य कारण में संतुलन रखता है और कोई कार्मिक क्रिया होने नहीं देता. लाइट ऑन द पाथ द्वारा यह सलाह मिलती है कि हर एक इंसान अपने आप को ब्रह्मांड का एक अंश समझे, एक रेत कण समझे जो समुद्री पानी के ज्वार भाटे में इधर उधर होता रहता है. मतलब कि पीड़ा सहन करनी भी है और दुनिया में कोई भी व्यक्ति की जो भी तकलीफें हैं वो उसी की है, उसे समझना है. इस प्रकार जब मनुष्य अपने आप को एक इकाई समझने लगेगा तो कुछ भी हासिल करने के लिए उसे संघर्ष नहीं करना होगा. दुनियावी कल्याण, मनुष्य जाति का कल्याण और उसके लिए जो भी कार्य वो करता है वो धर्म है, वो फर्ज है और आवश्यक है, यही समझना है. कार्य करने के बाद फल प्राप्ति की आकांक्षा नहीं रखना है या उससे लगाव भी नहीं रखना है. जैसे जैसे हम करुणा पथ पर अग्रसर होते हैं तब तब हमें अच्छाई या पवित्रता का वो केंद्र बनता दिखाई देता है. कर्म एवं निर्माण. आध्यात्मिक स्वातंत्र्य के लिए मैडम ब्लेवात्स्की जो पुरस्कर्ता थी उन्होंने सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन में यह बात बताई कि हर एक इंसान मुक्त होने के लिए जन्म लेता है. दूसरे भाग में वह लिखती है कि कुदरत का कानून हर एक प्राणी मात्र में निहित है और उसे मुक्ति एवं स्वयं मार्गदर्शन चाहिए. हमें दोनों दिशा सूचन एवं मुक्ति चाहिए. जिंदगी हमारी चेस बोर्ड यानी शतरंज की माफिक है। हम काले एवं सफेद खानों से गुजरते हैं। हमें मुक्ति एवं दिशा निर्देशन की जो आवश्यकता है, अगर एक ही रंग के चौकोर खाने अगर हैं तो खेल नहीं बन सकता, खेल नहीं खेला जाता। इसलिए हमें दोनों चाहिए, मुक्ति एवं दिशा निर्देशन। दो तरह की आजादी होती है, एक किसी से आजादी और किसी के लिए आजादी। ये बहुत बड़ी बात बताइए, किसी के लिए आजादी और किसी से आजादी। किसी से आजादी का मतलब किसी की चुंगाल से मुक्ति, यह एक प्रकार से निष्क्रिय आजादी है। किसी के लिए आजादी में हमारी शक्ति बढ़ती है, यह इसलिए सक्रिय आजादी। गुरु या महात्मा के एच, उन्होंने एपिसनेट को हिदायत दी कि उन्हें कर्म एवं निर्वाण के दोनों को अच्छी तरह से समझ लेना चाहिए। उसे आधि भौतिक जगत में दो चाबी वाला रहस्य बताते हैं। जिस दुनिया में हम रहते हैं उसमें कर्म प्राथमिक है, उसे संसार कहते हैं, और जो सदैव बहता रहता है। इसे हमारी दुनिया में हर रोज कुछ न कुछ होने को कहते हैं, यानी बिकमिंग। हर पल यहाँ सब कुछ बदलता है, बदलता रहता है, बहता रहता है और कर्म के नियम अनुसार चलता रहता है। इसलिए सारी चीजें एक साथ बहती है। संसार शब्द से दुनिया में बंधे रहने का अर्थ है, जबकि उसके विपरीत निर्वाण एवं मुक्ति है। यह दुनिया जीवन मृत्यु की है, क्योंकि इसका संचालन कर्म द्वारा होता है, जिसके दो पहलू है। एक छोर पर बंधन है जो हमें संसार में बांधे रखता है, तो दूसरी ओर कर्म बंधन है जो पसंदगी युक्त या मुक्त इच्छा के साथ है। कर्म बंधन बांधता है, लेकिन अगर मुक्तता हो, मुक्ति की चाबी हो, तो हम संसार से पलायन होकर निर्वाण की ओर प्रविष्ट हो जाते हैं। अंदर जाने का रास्ता ही बाहर निकलने का बन सकता है। कर्म गोल घूमता दरवाजा है। समस्या यह है कि वह इतनी जोरों से घूमता है कि जब बाहर निकलने की कोशिश करते हैं तो इतने देर में तो दोबारा हम उसमें फंस जाते हैं। निर्वाण का मतलब है सब कुछ उड़ाए देना, हर एक मर्यादा को लांघ जाना, जीवन चक्र से मुक्ति पाना। इसलिए यही हमारी मुक्ति की चाबी है। और उसके जो भी कर्म के परिणाम मिलते हैं वो हमारे इर्द गिर्द ही होते रहते हैं। उसमें जो भी हमारी इच्छा पाने की होती है उससे कई गुना बढ़कर वो होता है। हमें निर्वाण एक दूर दूर कोई परिधि पर दिखता है, लेकिन हकीकत में वह निर्वाण हमारे आसपास ही होता है। हर एक मर्यादा से मुक्ति पाना ही निर्वाण है। कर्म एवं निर्वाण के दो परिचायक है, एक संसार और कर्म से भागना चाहता है, और निर्वाण की दुनिया में प्रवेश पाना चाहता है जहां से वापसी नहीं है। हमारा अज्ञान ही जिसके कारण ये दोनों विरोधाभासी दिखते हैं। हकीकत में ये दोनों एक सिक्के के दो पहलू है, एक ही सत्य के दो पासे, एक ही क्रिया के कारण और परिणाम। हम हमारी जिंदगी इसी प्रकार कर्म एवं निर्वाण स्वरूप में जो दो खंभों के बीच है उसी में ही हम है, जो हमारे लिए बंधन भी है और मुक्त पसंदगी भी है। कर्म बंधन है, जो भी पाया है उसी में वो सीमित है। निर्वाण मुक्ति है, स्वतंत्रता है, जो अबाधित पसंदगी है। हमारा यही ध्येय यह है कि ना ही हम कर्म से नियंत्रित हो, ना ही हम उससे पलायन हो, लेकिन उन्हें जाने, उपयोग करें, जानकर उपयोग करें। कई लोग कर्म द्वारा नियंत्रित जगत से पलायन करते हैं और निर्वाण की स्वतंत्रता की ओर हो लेते हैं। कर्म एवं निर्वाण, नियम एवं स्वतंत्र एक दूसरे से जुड़े हैं। हमारी आध्यात्मिक विकास की ये दो चाबियां हैं जो हमें मर्यादित भी करती है और उसमें से मुक्त भी करती है। हमारी संपूर्ण शक्तियों का पता चल जाता है, इसलिए मार्गदर्शन भी करती है। मौन के नाद में यानी वॉइस ऑफ साइलेंस में कहा गया है कि अगर तू कार्य करने से बचेगा तो कभी भी आत्मा की स्वतंत्रता पा नहीं सकेगा। निर्वाण के लिए व्यक्ति में स्व ज्ञान प्राप्त करना ही होगा। यह एक ऐसा काव्य जो थियोसॉफिकल साहित्य में से मुखर कर सामने आया है, shalt thou abstain from action, that is from all the word of karma, our everyday life as our responsibilities, not so shall gain thy soul or freedom. यानी निर्वाण पाने के लिए स्वज्ञान होना जरूरी है। अपने स्व का ज्ञान, अपना वैश्विक स्व के साथ जो भी संबंध है उसका ज्ञान, स्व ज्ञान में अत्यंत प्रिय कार्यकलाप होते हैं, दूसरों की सेवा में वो कार्यरत रहता है। यही थियोसॉफी का मूल मंत्र है। मैडम ब्लेवेट्स्की उनके जो चेले थे उनमें से किसी ने फरियाद स्वरूप एक बात पूछी, जो भी मतलब कि अच्छी बात नहीं लगी थी, तो हतोत्साह की स्थिति में आ गए। तब उन्होंने वॉइस ऑफ द साइलेंस पढ़ने के लिए सलाह दी। इस पूरी किताब में यहाँ आगे जो स्व ज्ञान संबंधित वाक्य कहा गया है, ऐसा और कोई वाक्य कहीं मिलता ही नहीं। इसलिए स्पष्ट है कि हम ब्रह्म विद्या के आदर्श स्वरूप से जानकारी लें, वह उसी में ही निहित है। हमारे भीतर को जानना, जानकर मुक्ति पाना, यही उसका उद्देश्य है। थियोसॉफी का आदर्श ही यही है, निस्वार्थ भाव से संसार के कार्यों को अंजाम देना और अपने आप को जानते हुए मुक्त होते रहना। स्व के बारे में समझकर ही हम प्रबुद्धता की ओर चल देते हैं। ऐसी मुक्ति जिसमें मन, मस्तिष्क, हृदय और हाथ शामिल है। मस्तिष्क से ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है, हृदय से प्रेम और हाथों से कार्यों को किया करते हैं। नमस्कार।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और तीनों वक्ताओं से मैं कहूँगा कि इफ यू वांट टू ऐड एनीथिंग, आप उसमें ऐड कर सकते हैं, या फिर हम आगे भी बढ़ सकते हैं, और वी कैन बी ओपन टू ऑल क्वेश्चंस एंड क्वेश्चंस इफ एनीवन विश टू आस्क। सोनल जी कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे? If something is left over and you wish.
No, I think it's been explained very well in both the languages. And so any people wants to make any comments or add some?
Yeah. You can do so. Yes, Shinde ji. और विमल जी।
Sir Shinde ji speaking on this topic.
शिंदे जी का वीडियो ऑन नहीं हो रहा है।
May I say something?
Yeah, sure. Please on your video.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Swami Chinmayananda used to say that destiny is what you get and how you deal with it is up to you. तो वो एक एग्जाम्पल देते थे कि आदमी था, उसका एक लड़का खड्डे में गिर के मर गया, तो उसने क्या किया, धोने के बजाय ही यूज्ड टू गो टू ऑन द रोड्स, सब खड्डा उसने पूरने का शुरू किया और ही वाज ट्राइंग टू सेव द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ अदर पीपल. So that is what Swami Chinmayan used to say, कि destiny is what you get and how you deal with it is up to you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, anyone else? Jiten bhai?
Yeah, anyway, very good speakers. They give a very good details about the karma and nirvana. So I want from the participants, can they share, any of them, the karmas that they have come across this life and what they have done about it? How did you burn them, or how did you remove them? How did you cancel them? Can somebody give an example? What happened to them, and what did they do? How they reacted?
Well, that's what I asked them, but I think you can share something if you have experience in your life.
Yeah. Okay, we went to Kilimanjaro, the family, to climb the Kilimanjaro on the 1st of January 2022. And when we came down from the summit, we climbed the mountain, and when we came down, we heard the news that at our house in Zambia, we were in Tanzania. The house was empty in Zambia, in Kitwe, where we are staying. The thieves had broken in and stole a lot of things from our bedrooms. All the gold, jewelry, roughly about $35,000 cash was missing. All the jewelry that my wife had from before her marriage and after marriage, all the jewelry everything was stolen because of these people who came to steal. They were from Congo, and Congo, they know the value of gold. Like the Zambians, they don't know that much value of the gold. So these people, they were only after dollars and gold. They didn't take any TV or carpets or fridges or anything. They had all the time in those days, because there was nobody here to say call the police or something like that.
Okay.
But they broke into our bedrooms and they threw everything on the floor. They cleared every cupboard to say whether they can find any money or any jewelry or anything. And made a complete mess of it. So when we came down, we heard the news from our friends that your house has been burgled and this is what has happened. Come and have a look at the pictures that I'm sending you. So I told my sons and my wife, listen, this is your past karma. Things that are missing are gone. Don't be upset. Don't be, send bad thoughts about the people who have stolen it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it's blessing in disguise. What karma we had is now wiped out. We are not going to do any bad things. We are not going to catch them even if the police find them and find them, forgive them. We will tell the policemen they did not know what they were doing. Just like Jesus said, "Oh, why have you forsaken me?" And then then he realizes, he says, "Oh Lord, forgive them. They don't know what they did." So this is how we should burn them out, so that we create from now on everything, what we do, let's just do only good things in life.
Sure,
so
sir.
that our future has got the accumulation of good deeds only.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your wonderful explanation and sharing a real happening in your life. Yes, Shinde ji or Vimal ji, whoever can. हाँ विमल जी, please go ahead.
Yeah, I can say about karma. Like a personal thing is that many of you know I have a special needs child. And he's 22 years old. So whenever, I mean, in the early years, I contemplated a lot about what is the nature of the karma that led to this happening. And my thinking was that I have a nature which tries to suppress somebody who's weaker than me. I have a nature also to make fun of people. Sometimes in even in your program, sometimes I will pull somebody down, and I don't realize that it hurts others at that time. Later, I feel sorry and I apologize, or I regret talking like that. In fact, when I was very young, my sister was a very soft and we never used to talk much. She was very shy. So when I used to call her, she would not come. But when I used to call her name and say, "Idiot, come here," then she would listen. And when she grew up, I used to ask her, Appu, Aparna was her name, Appu, why didn't you listen? Come when I used to call you. She said, I didn't feel it was important to come. That's why I wouldn't respond. But I realized that I got a child with a mental retardation. I got a child who's, for me to understand that everything is not the mind. It is all about love. Your thoughts can be very negative, can be very foolish about other people, make all kinds of impressions in your mind about them, which is very wrong. And if you work with those and then hurt the other person because you think something about them, then you are really creating that bad karma, which has caused me to have a child who needs support. So for me, it is life changing. I'm working on it, and I think it's hopefully before I die, I will not be the person I started off being. So that's how I look at it.
Wonderful to share, Vimalji. Maybe this experience will help lot many people across whenever they hear this out. Yes, Sandeji.
If I can just add
Yeah,
something
please.
to what Vimal said, is that actually, as I was saying, that this is a very complex thing, not easy to understand what all has led to that karma. But there is also a part where your son needs a person to take care of him, and that person is you. So you were the best person in whose, who can be his mother. So I think it is not always, it's not good to try and think about what I could have, what I did. That may not be important. This is the situation now, and what is my response to that? Because it's very complex, and as we said, it happens at so many levels. And we are also, as humanity, I mean, our individual life is also composed of all intertwined threads, and whole humanity is also composed of individuals. We are all continuously influencing each other. So it's not easy to come to a conclusion about this thing. But what we can do is that right now in this situation, what is my response? How I can be actively mitigating this and doing my best to help him and help everyone. And you have done a tremendous job of not just helping him, but helping so many other children and their parents in living life in a very positive manner. And so that is the Kriyaman karma that you are doing now.
Oh.
Thank you, Sonal.
Thank you, Sonalji. Nicely explained. Yes, Shindeji, you can go ahead and then.
Thank you. My laptop was not working properly.
Yeah, I could see
now I started again.
Yeah.
See, to listen to karma is really interesting. And Sonal, HARSHAVADAN, SHETH, and VARSHA ji, all are very good speakers. And I think they have given less time, and they have a lot to tell us. And I saw all this. And really, karma is, one must think over it deeply. They have given a lecture which is a thought-provoking. I just add, somebody asked Krishnaji, how is the modern world? And what he replied is, how is the modern world? The question was asked, and he replied, it is confused and gone mad. These are his words. So a lot of bad karma is there, lot of common karma is there. And as Sonal pointed out, the human brain is conditioned. It has got its patterns of behavior. Really, because of that, we are not acting but reacting. That is what she pointed out. And I think we are confused because our minds are confused. Our minds are conditioned. But how he says that we have gone mad, that is what we have to think over. And as a biologist, I think it is the human species only which kills its own species. So if you look into the animals, they won't kill their own species. It is the human species which kills its own species. And therefore, it has gone mad in that sense. And how do you, good souls, they act? And the reply is very nicely said. Good peoples, they act very socially and with gratitude. Once again, Sonal added about the gratitude. Gratitude is the high, crown of the virtues. And our international president also now said it is the fourth object now, this expressing the gratitude. Because socially, it helps us to feel less lonely and isolated. Physically, we get, with this virtue of gratitude, less bothered by aches and pains. And psychologically, with this gratitude, we feel higher levels of positive emotion. So once we understand this, then the question is, how is the karma of a beautiful soul? How is the karma of beautiful soul? And the answer is, the beautiful soul loves without condition, speaks or talks without bad intention, and gives without reason, and cares without any expectation. So if you remember this, and as Sonal pointed out, is the law of harmony. And in modern ways, what we can think of, don't love anyone. This is a new statement. Don't love anyone. Just stop hating everyone.
Nicely.
This is a wonderful thought which can be pondered over.
You can't love anyone, but it is
Because then atmosphere will become beautiful, and automatically it becomes beautiful. In the same manner, don't establish peace. Stop spreading unrest and rumors. Peace will be established itself. So this is the how the action and reaction. Now what must be our direction? Not to bring the peace, but stop spreading unrest and rumors in this Kali Yuga. And if we understand this, then we definitely work for the law of harmony. And law of harmony is essential. And that is the law of karma. As H P Blavatsky pointed out, that is what Sonal explained it. Thank you, Sonal. Very nicely you explained the whole thing. It is a big topic, but she made it possible within 20 minutes. It was difficult to do that. Only Sonal can do it, and she did it. Thank you very much. And also for HARSHAVADAN, it was difficult. He is also a national lecturer. He can give a large lecture on it, but he was limited to say what it should be said in the Hindi only. So these limitations were there, but whole program was really interesting and thought-provoking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shindeji.
Just one thing I was reminded of it when Shindeji spoke about we are the only species who kills our own. So someone has said that if all the insects were to die on the earth, then within 50 years there'll be no life on earth. But if all human beings were to die on earth, in 50 years life would thrive on earth.
Correct.
That's a good one.
Very yes.
Would you like to add something? Now you are free to speak in any language.
बस मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूंगी कि एक्शन और रिएक्शन में से अगर निकलना है तो एक्शन के सामने रिएक्शन नहीं लेकिन रिस्पोंड करना चाहिए.
ओह, क्या बात. वेल सेड. यस. और हम हमेशा सुनते हैं अंतिम प्रवचन सुषमा जी का होता है, तो अगर वो हाजिर हैं और कुछ कहना चाहें तो.
I would like to ask from the participants, can you find out what is the law of karma affecting when we have somebody has got a cancer? Is it cancer is a part of the karma, or the science says that it's because of the microwave oven food or tobacco, too much tobacco, or too much of this and too much of that? They're saying, so nobody has come out with a truth yet. I haven't heard any truth. What is the cause of cancer?
One of the things that HPB had said, I don't remember exactly where it is, that in Kali Yuga, you will have all kinds of diseases for which the medicine won't be found. So it's some kind of suffering. We are also part of humankind. And so, as I was saying, the law, there's intelligence at work. It's not just a blind law or mechanical law. So the lords of karma would also try and give you as much karma as possible in this life, if possible, because evolution wants us to evolve and the karma wants us to finish the karma as soon as possible. Sometimes it is also said that if a person's life, let's say someone is very ill and it seems that there is no possibility of doing anything useful, then the lords of karma might take that opportunity and give all the karma related to that, so that that bad part is also utilized in some way. But when we talk about the response, which Varsha was saying, it's to be free of this cycle in which we are caught. So if I give an example, Rahul Gandhi, I think some years ago, he met the murderer, one of the person who is accused of murdering his father in the jail. He went and met Nalini. And he said that I have to do it because I have to forgive her and I have to be free of this cycle. Otherwise, it would be hatred towards her. And then that leads to more binding with that person in the next life also. And it just goes on and on. So he wanted to be free. So he went and met her and he forgave her with all his heart. So this is one of the examples of how to be free from the cycle.
Yes,
well, may I add something in it? The question is very interesting.
Very, very good. Very good.
Because very great people have ended their life with the cancer disease. Very great people. All of them I don't name. So many. It is a thought-provoking one question that is asked by Brother Jitendra Sampath. Really, really interesting. And one thought which I read, which Annie Besant said, because as we know, what our heart feels is different from what our brain is thinking. So brain is thinking something and heart is feeling other thing. And there is such a kind of conflict. We feel to do good, but because of certain circumstances, we are unable to do good. And this becoming unable to do good goes on accumulating in our body, and that converts into cancer. That is what Annie Besant has said. If you want to doing good, and if you don't do, then that remains in you, and it comes as the cancer out. And when once J. Krishnamurti found that he had cancerous growth, then immediately he reacted. What is it that I have done wrong? This was his reaction. Means we don't know what wrong we have done. In one of the Mahatma letters, it is said, we pledge in our dreams also to the masters, and we commit something and we forget. And whatever it is forgotten, that got the punishment in different way. So we can take it as this. I don't know, I can't answer this question, but question is very interesting to put for debate.
Thank you, sir.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I've heard that when Ramakrishna Paramhans found it, that he had a cancer in his tongue, everybody got very baffled.
If there is a conflict in the family matters, where there is a conflict between the brothers and sisters, father and son, mother and daughter, or something like that, conflicts going on.
Hello.
It's like a two cells not getting on well. So those who have been fighting in the past life for properties, and they said they grab properties. The says, no, my father and mother left me for us. You are not. You didn't work. We ran away from the house. How can you come now and share about the property and so forth? So the conflict that goes on is what makes people have the cancers.
I think,
Hello,
Jitenji, Archana ji was answering to your question.
No, I wasn't answering. I'm just saying this
Okay.
is the thing from the when Ramakrishna Paramhans, the God man like person, when he got cancer, everybody, his followers felt very bad. How can a God person like Ramakrishna Paramhans have cancer? तब उन्होंने ऐसा कहा था, मैंने उनकी जो जीवनी में पढ़ा था कि ये मैंने शरीर इस जन्म में लिया है, मुझे पता नहीं मैंने पीछे क्या किया था, मगर ये माताजी, सिंस ही बिलीव्ड इन माताजी, इसके माताजी की असीम कृपा है कि इस जन्म में मेरा जो भी कुछ है मैं ये रोग के द्वारा निकाल रहा हूँ. दैट्स व्हाट शारदा माँ आल्सो सेड दैट इफ यू आर इन पेन प्लीज टेक दिस पेन बिकॉज माँ इज गिविंग यू पेन टू रिलीज ऑल योर कर्मा. जब वो लोग ऐसी बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं तो हम तो बहुत ही छोटे हैं, तो हमें तो एक्सेप्ट करना ही है. दिस इज जस्ट आई थॉट कैंसर एंड कर्मा था, तो मैंने सोचा ये बता दूं.
जी जी जी.
बस 2
हाँ,
मिनट का
सुषमा जी.
समय लूंगी मैं.
हाँ सुषमा जी.
सोनल मुरली जी ने और वर्षा जी ने और हर्षवर्धन सेठ जी ने बहुत अच्छी प्रस्तुति की. बस एक बात मुझे याद आ रही थी कि मैंने डोरा कुंज का एक आर्टिकल पढ़ा था कि रिजेंटमेंट इज अ पॉइजनस अंडर करेंट. तो जो हमारा अंदर मनोमालिन्य होता है वो विषाक्त अंतर्धारा है और उससे सारी डिजीजेस होती हैं. और अब तो जो साइंटिस्ट हैं उन्होंने साइंटिफिकली ये प्रूव कर दिया है कि हमारी हर डिजीज का जो कारण होते हैं वो हमारी वो थॉट्स, एक्शन और रिजेंटमेंट्स होते हैं. तो एक तो इस बात का मैं उत्तर सोच रही थी. और दूसरा एक बात है कि एक बूमरंग कर्मा की बात आई है कि बूमरंग कर्मा वो होता है कि यदि हमने किसी की तरफ कोई जो टिल्टेड, यदि हमने एक हथियार फेंका तो वो लौट कर उसी समय आता है. वो तात्कालिक कर्म हमको उस समय सहना पड़ता है. वो जो एक्युमुलेटेड और प्रारब्ध और क्रियमाण कर्म के अंतर्गत नहीं आ रहा. इसको सोनल मुरली जी क्लियर करेंगी. और तीसरी बात जय कृष्ण मूर्ति जी ने कही थी कि जो हमारे इंडिविजुअल कर्म होते हैं, सोसाइटी के कर्म होते हैं, नेशन के कर्म होते हैं और इंटरनेशनल कर्म होते हैं. तो इन सारे कर्मों में हमारी जो भागीदारी होती है, जैसे अभी कोरोना आया तो ये अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पे आया, लेकिन सब लोग उससे उतना प्रभावित नहीं हुए और कुछ लोग तो बिल्कुल प्रभावित नहीं हुए. वो अलग बात है कि इमोशनल लेवल पे, मेंटल लेवल पे प्रभावित हुए, लेकिन फिजिकल लेवल पे नहीं हुए. तो हमारी जैसा विचार होगा वो कर्म का प्रभाव भी जो है वो डाइल्यूट होकर हमारे पास आता है, जैसा सोनल मुरली जी ने बताया. यही बात जय कृष्ण मूर्ति जी ने कही थी. और वो जो बीमारी की बात है वो क्लियर करेंगी सोनल मुरली जी.
Do you wish to say anything on that, Sonal ji?
Yeah, about this boomerang karma, I mean, one of the views expressed in theosophy is that it's too simplified understanding of karma, because karma is very complex and it's multi-dimensional. For example, in the disease thing, also there is racial karma, there is national karma, there is a karma of humankind and all that. And in that, there are some people who will be taking it on themselves because they also had some karma which can be used up in this. So it's not easy to understand that. But when a person is not well in the family, there is the karma of the entire family involved, because the other people are also suffering. So other people are suffering, they are also very unhappy that the life is cut short. They have to also do their best. They have to be positive, and they have to make the remaining years, pleasant and memorable for that jivatma. So it's a lot of karma of everybody involved in that. Even the doctor who is treating, with what kind of attitude the doctor is treating.
Correct.
Isn't it? Yeah. But some of the things we now, people say that whatever you do, what goes around comes around. It's not that simple understanding of karma. There are things that will happen, you might yell at someone over the phone, or your subordinate, etc., and then something happens. There is no need to connect. We are just living in the present. We have to look at what is happening and how we are responding to that. So again, when we try to rationalize it, it comes in that zone where we are trying, there is intention. Intention comes into that. We want the good deeds, we want merit to be accumulated and all that. So we have to only be observing ourselves. And from where all this is coming, why is it that I want, good things to happen to me, etc. And disease and all, as I said, Madam Blavatsky has also spoken about it, that there are, also the karma of your race, the karma of your clan, the karma of the family. For example, astrologically, they said that Kal Sarpa Dosh is for a person who has taken birth to remove the sins of, so many of your ancestors. So he has sacrificed his life in this, incarnation to just get rid of that heavy karma.
Okay.
Thank you. I got my answer. Thank you, Sonal Murali ji.
Sushma ji, I would
Ji.
like to tell you, boomerang
Ji.
action is action and reactions are opposite and equal. Your thoughts build your character, and your desires give you opportunity, and your behavior makes your environment. This is really true. If you observe in your life, this is how action and reactions are opposite and equal. In this way, we can explain boomerang karma.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sushma ji.
But one thing which Madam Blavatsky has said is that for ordinary men, karma is unknowable.
Yeah.
The law of karma is unknowable. Yes. It's
Yes,
only
yes,
when
yes.
you have reached a certain level, like masters, then you can understand that, what karma is actually.
That is very true. That is the limitation of human consciousness.
Okay, so I think it's time, and I will request Keshwarji to please go ahead with the prayers.
मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहम् न कर्णं न जिह्वा न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योम भूमि न तेजो न वायुः चिदानन्द रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशः न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चौपस्थपायुः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मे द्वेष रागौ न मे लोभ मोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मत्सर्य भावः न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थं न वेदा न यज्ञ अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्तः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मृत्यु न शङ्का न मे जातिभेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मः न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वा च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न वा सङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेयः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्